Let's get into it. TSM, out of Worlds, 0-6. Officially the worst performing team, NA team at Worlds coming out of a 1 seed in particular.
Yeah.
FlyQuest have yet to play, but they already have a win, so they are definitely TSM, the worst performing team of any NA team at Worlds. TL went 3-3. They are the first ever major region at number 1 to go 0-6 in groups. They set a lot of records at Worlds, but in the opposite way. And this leaves certainly a bitter taste in many people's mouths, not just TSM fans, but also fans of North America. Sure, there are a lot of people happy to see TSM's demise if they are not fans of this team, but we have to break down exactly how we got to this point. Because this one is very concerning, not just for the TSM, but the players involved. The players on this team, because there's going to be a lot of questions, Tyler. There's going to be a lot of speculation going into the offseason. How will this team look? What will happen to this team? After a performance like this, you can only imagine how disappointed they are and how disappointed you are and fans are. So let's get right into it, Tyler. How did we get to this point?
I mean, Spica hit a 5-man sleep, and then it actually turned out to be a 9-man sleep where nothing really happened. That play kind of signified the entirety of TSM's run at Worlds 2020. And then the next game as well is when they traded Baron for Nexus, was also kind of a summarization of 2020 TSM at Worlds. That play, the sleep, I think it's tougher to kind of break down than I think on paper. On paper, it looks very, very easy, where it's yes, TSM should have ran in. It looks really bad. It looks really stupid. They pull off. They double F goes to farm mid lane when all 5 members of Gen G are fast asleep, ready to be killed. Bjergsen is full mana, He has a flash on him. He's fed. He can jump in, blow up Gen G, win, get Baron, win game. Simple as that. Sure, Gen G, some of the members are in Senate Shroud, I believe. So some of the members are invisible or untangible, or whatever the word that put into the untargetable. So even so, this is the moment where Speaky gets to sleep off. They can see they got some sleeps off, and it's a moment where TSM can either go for broke. They are not the scaling team. This team does not scale well. That is also a big factor in this whole shebang, where TSM does not outscale Gen G. At this point, TSM's already thrown the game away. They had one of the most shambolic Barons of all time. Even that's saying something from a North American team. They threw at that Baron in an embarrassing fashion, and the game had come into a standstill where Gen G is vastly scaling. They are going to beat TSM in any 5-on-5 team fight coming up. And this was their one moment, their one reprieve, Arda. They got the perfect sleep off, a sleep that Sneaky, while watching this game, said he has never seen a 5-man sleep before. This was the perfect, the picturesque sleep. This is what all Lillian Mains dream of. This was the moment. This was the moment that even if TSM went 1-5, this was going to be the play that is going to be shown forever in Worlds packages, right? Where you get the 5-man sleep and everyone jumps in on Gen G and wipes them clean off the board, and they get Baron, they win the game. It was supposed to be that moment. It was supposed to be that killer instinct moment, Arda, but there was no blood to be found. TSM, as throughout the entire tournament, showed a disconnect. Some players going this way, some players going that way. They backed off, they turtled, and they just kind of waited for their doom. And they knew it was coming. They knew they were outscaled. And by the time they fought again, Gen G just slapped them around the mouth. And it was like, okay, you had a 6K gold lead and you threw it all, and now we've outscaled you. Congratulations, TSM, you played yourself. That one moment that was open for them, they didn't take it. And even if it wasn't as, easy as it could seem from, our eyes, I would like to see a pro view of like a double lift or a Bjergsen of what they saw in that moment. But there was still that opening. And they didn't take that opening. It could have went terribly wrong, but that was their one chance to take the game for themselves. And I tweeted this before the tournament. You can go back. I tweeted this, and I said, this tournament for Bjergsen is the biggest of his career. And what I want to see from Bjergsen, who the meta is in his wheelhouse. His champions that he loves are in his wheelhouse. He's in great form on the Chinese Super Server. He's doing great. He's high challenger. He's one of the top-ranked Western players going into Worlds. He has to show a killer instinct. I want to see a killer instinct from Bjergsen where he takes over the game and he says, I will not let my team go down easily. Just like we've seen from Faker and Ruler and Caps and Perks and all these legendary players. Even players like Selfmade this tournament have shown that he will not let his team lose because he is that ace player. I want to see that from Bjergsen. I want to see that killer instinct. And there was no killer instinct to be had on this day. Not in this game, not versus Fnatic, and not versus LGD. In all three games, for the most part, outside of the first 15 minutes of the Gen G game where they looked really good after they'd been mathematically eliminated, and they were proactive for once with Spica kind of, 1v9ing on the Lilia, they were always the ones reacting to the action instead of making it. Where Fnatic was always on the front foot of everything, where they were diving, they were playing. Even if it was sloppy, they were always going for it. Where with TSM, it felt like they were timid. They were scared to make a move. If they messed up, it would, blow up in their faces. And you just wanted TSM to be proactive and play like you thought they could. And it sucks because I do think TSM is better than what they showed. Maybe I don't think they're a team that's good enough to make it out of this group. I don't think they're better than Gen G and Fnatic after watching 6 games of them, but they're better than 0-6. And I think the players know that. But the harsh thing is, and I don't want to say it sucks to say, and there's going to be tweets of, we love you guys. You guys, we really tried our best. It's embarrassing. We know we failed you guys, but next year we're going to come back stronger. And then in 2016, when TSM were pseudo favorites, dark horses to make a final, and they failed in the group stages and lost to RNG and Samsung Galaxy, and they failed to make it to the groups, and they said that, and they said the tweets were there, and they said, we'll come back next year stronger. I believe them. I believe them in full. I said they could come back stronger. 2017, China. Let's go back. Another time where TSM is favored to make it out of groups. They lose to Misfits in a tiebreaker. After the games, we'll get them next year, guys. We're embarrassed. We're sad. We're going to work for it. Next time, we're going to come back stronger. We'll come back stronger. Years later, after finally getting back to Worlds, after, missing from Worlds for 2 years and finally bringing the game back together, Biofrost, Doublelift, and Bjergsen winning a domestic title, they come into Worlds as the number 1 seed of North America, and they don't not only not make it out, they go 0-6. And I don't believe that they'll be better next year. I don't believe they'll be stronger next year with this core. I've given them 2, 3, 4 chances to prove me wrong, but every time TSM comes to Worlds, it ends in the same exact argument of they don't have the killer instinct, the communication isn't right. The same issues they had in 2016 when Doublelift got caught out by Crown and blew him up in an instant with Victor are the same issues we look at 2020 when they have the discommunication around giving up a Baron for the Nexus in the game versus LGD, which, we could talk all day about the Gen G play and if they actually could, actually saw that they were slept in the, the shroud of Senna and if they needed a ward or all that, and what play is correct there. We can all agree that giving up the Nexus to get a Baron is not the best play, and that has come down to miscommunication and just not great macro. And the same plays and the same mistakes we were having in 2016 are still plaguing them in 2020. And I am done with thinking about next year and coming back stronger. Changes need to be made, and it's just a sad day for TSM fans because TSM fans are loyal, man. I'm not a huge TSM fan. I want North America to succeed, but I'm not, the biggest TSM fan. I'm not going to go to the desk for the guy. I'm not going to, bleed black and white. But there are fans like that who work, 12-hour shifts at supermarkets and pet stores and who are, in school. But they're waking up in the middle of the night to watch their favorite players play, their favorite organization, TSM, play. And this is what they got. This is what they got for waking up in the middle of the night, watching these players that they supported all year long. And what did they get, Arda? They got nothing but loss after loss after loss after loss after loss, embarrassment after embarrassment, as everything they love and everything they cherish falls around them, and they can't even talk about their favorite team anymore because they're going to get laughed at because they're TSM fans, and it sucks, and I hate it. And this is a terrible, terrible day to be a TSM fan.